Excellent. I think we still have a few more attendees rolling in, but I'm sure they'll make it by the time we get to the content. Thank you everyone for attending today's Lunch and Learn. If you haven't met me before, my name is Gabriel and I'm from Thrive. And with me today, we have Kevin from HH2. He's looking to talk about remote payroll. If you guys haven't attended Lunch and Learn before, it's a free 30-minute webinar that Thrive hosts monthly. Each topic is kind of tailored to our customers. And this month is quite exciting because we're introducing a new product to our customers, HH2 Remote Payroll. I'm going to be placing everyone on mute for the time of this webinar. If you do have any questions, please feel free to post them in the web chat. And if we do have time at the end of today's session, we can get to your questions. Otherwise, if we don't have time, we can always get to you offline and shoot you an email response or give you a call. So I'll introduce Kevin now. He is our representative, the VP of Sales from HH2, and he'll be presenting remote payroll for us.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Gabrielle. Appreciate the introduction, and we are very excited to introduce HH2 Cloud Services to Australia, to the Sage Australia marketplace. A little bit of background, and again, I guess before I even begin, I just want to thank each one of you for signing up and joining this Lunch and Learn. And again, we're excited to kind of be in the Australian marketplace. HH2 Cloud Services, who we are and how we got started in this business. We've been in business for about 15 years as a third-party integration partner with Sage. We initially, again, started our business in the States. I'm actually located in the state of Utah in the United States. And we, again, we started this company and wanted to integrate our product or have a product out there that actually truly integrates with Sage 300 CRE. Back in the day, it was called Timberline. So we're going to talk about that integration and talk about our most widely used product in this mix. We actually have two that we're going to offer the Australian marketplace, but today we're going to focus on payroll. I would assume why many of you are here is that you may be struggling with gathering in your time remotely from the field. And so that's kind of what we're going to cover today. A little bit more about the product is the fact that HH2 Cloud Services was built in the cloud, okay? It's hosted in the cloud. It's not an on-premises software. It can be used anytime, anywhere, that you have connectivity. And we also have native apps that you can use while you're offline. So let me tell you a little bit about, again, how that may work. If you're using a laptop or a desktop computer tonight, I'm just using, or today, your time, tonight or evening time, my time, I'm just using a laptop. I'm going to go to a web browser and we're going to show you what HH2 looks like on a desktop and on a web browser. Very simple. I also would like to let you know that we also support both iOS and Android devices out there in the field, whether those devices are tablets or smartphones. So we have native apps that can be used offline. Okay, so if you're in a remote area where you're working and you don't have connectivity, you can actually still code your time for your crew. And then when you do come into connectivity, you'll be able to upload that information to the cloud and kind of continue on with your process. Okay, so whether you do or do not have connectivity, HH2 is able to be used. So again, why you guys are here, why many of you are here, is because you may have some time collection issues. What we see all of the time is there are companies that are still doing timesheets via paper. Some may have graduated to an Excel spreadsheet. Some people are struggling with record keeping, right? Also, some other issues are, do I have a product that actually integrates? Maybe you're currently using another software, but there's absolutely no integration. And it has to be software that's loaded on a computer or whatever, and maybe you're using a product that can't be used offline either. So these are many of the issues that HH2 helps to solve, okay? And again, this is how we solve the problem. We're going to talk really about the foundation of HH2, that integration. And that's why Chris and the team there at Thrive, we're excited that HH2 is coming into Australia, is because of that seamless integration, having a product that actually talks to Sage 300 CRE, which I know many of you are using that particular ERP solution. So what do we do at HH2 when someone signs up? We simply install what we call an integration client. It is a nice service that just sits on your server, okay? And we begin talking to or pulling data out of your accounting system. Now, items that we're syncing over into our platform are items like all of your jobs, your extras or sub jobs, whatever you might call them, your cost codes that are associated with those jobs and extras. We also pull over all of your employees. We also pull over your equipment. So if you're a company that's also using the equipment module in Sage, we can sync to that. We also pull over kind of your contacts, your address book, really depending on the product that you bring over to HH2, but we sync that data up to the cloud. Now, oftentimes we get the question, hey, Kevin, how often do you sync data? Do I have to press a button every day or every morning when I come in to sync that data up? And the quick answer to that is no. It's a very simple, again, service that sits on your server that you can set to run once a day, every hour, or you can now do what we call a continuous sync, meaning every 5 minutes, our system's going to look at any data that we have not synced up previously, and will automatically sync it up to the cloud. So honestly, when you set up the sync client, you kind of set it and forget it. And it just runs in the background, syncing that data. Now, what that means to people in the field, whether they are individual employees, a crew manager, when they go to code time, depending on how you've set up HH2, they're actually choosing jobs, cost codes, and pieces of equipment, and employees that actually came from your accounting system. So one, we really help to streamline that process, making sure we've got good, accurate data out in the field to code to, right? Now, once they start coding time, remember those time records are saved to the cloud, and then they can go through a customized approval process, okay? Thus eliminating the paper timesheets coming in. As soon as they code time, people in the office can see exactly where time has been coded. If you're a customer also interested in GPS functionality, seeing where a person may have clocked in or out of, we have that capability. We'll talk a little bit about that and give you a sneak peek of what that might look like, not only on the web, but on a mobile device as well. So we have a lot of customizable entry methods, because we know that one system may not fit your way of doing time collection. So again, we have multiple time entry methods. We have multiple ways to code time as well, to jobs, cost codes, extras, GLs, etc. And also multiple approval paths. We know that some companies might be very simple in their approval process. It might go simply from the guys in the field right to a payroll manager, and then they push it into Sage. Other people might have it go to a project manager for approval. So again, a myriad of ways in which you can collect time. We also collect time for employees, pieces of equipment, as I mentioned, mileage. You are very familiar with Sage 300 CRE and the fact that you can have or set up multiple pay types. Well, we sync over all of your pay types at the beginning as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. So again, we have a host of other features here at HH2, but hopefully that gives you a good background about, hey, why is HH2 here today? How do they integrate with Sage? And how can they help me with my payroll process, okay? And one thing that I really like as a presenter we love questions. And Gabriel let me know that this is kind of a casual type setting. And so if you have questions while I go throughout the presentation, I know we've only got, maybe 20 minutes left, but please feel free as I'm going through. If you have a question, I'm happy to show you what that, maybe take you to a place in the product where that functionality might be seen. Okay, so this is the web browser. Now, every company that signs up with HH2 gets their own unique HH2 URL. This is my sales site, and this is a live website just like one of our customers might use. Now, I'm going to take you to a place just real quick to show you some of the back end before I get into time. And I'm not going to get into too much detail today, but enough to kind of help you understand how powerful HH2 is and a little bit about our UI and why people like the user interfaces with HH2. It's unlike a lot of other products that you've seen. Now, one of the first things we'll do, and I like to take people to what we call a payroll group, because I'm today going to log in as Frank Galloway. I just want you to know and understand that in our settings, you can set up what you want your employees to be able to have access to, okay? And we support all of these things that are within Sage, okay, accounting. So you can decide what the groups set up. You can decide what kind of workflow or approval path this group might have. So today's demonstration, I'm going to go from a group manager to a job manager, because maybe I want our project managers to see the where we've got time coded, and then to the payroll admin. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Then you can set up your crew manager. You can even come in here, limit what jobs this crew sees. You can go into detail as to what cost codes they have access to, and even GL accounts. And again, much, much more. Okay, now let's just go to a timesheet. So what I'm going to do, I told you that I'm going to log in, or I'm going to go in as Frank Galloway. Okay, Frank was my manager today, and I like doing crew time. We just find that a lot of people using Sage 300 CRE really like a crew manager to code time for a crew. The vast majority of our customers. And also, while I'm talking, I would have you note that all of our companies that use HH2 are in the construction vertical, right? Or in that construction space. So we understand it very, very well. Well, I've logged in as Frank today, and on my timesheet, you will notice a few things. You'll notice that it's Wednesday for me, November 18th, and these are crew members across the top of my timesheet. This is what we call a daily timesheet. I like daily timesheets if I'm used to my guys at the end of the day, or a crew manager going in and coding time. Down here below my employees, I see some pay IDs. Remember, we sync over all of your pay IDs, and then you decide as a company, do I want them to see regular, overtime, double time, premium time, sick, holiday, vacation? Might be a number of different things. Please know that HH2 will support all of those. Down on the left-hand side, you see I've already preloaded some jobs and some cost codes. These are jobs that we have been working on previously, so they'll show up for me tomorrow when I log in. So I don't have to re-add them to my time card. It might be as simple as saying, this guy worked 4 hours on this code, 4 hours here. Well, some of my other employees might simply be working on asphalt paving. So I'm just going in and putting units into the pay types that my guys worked on today. If a couple of my guys, like Gary and Frank, worked on another job, they may say, hey, these two guys worked 3.5 hours here, and then they went over and worked 2 hours here and another hour, maybe another hour and a half or whatever, on this job as well. So we'll just go ahead here and put another 2.5 hours. Okay. So again, it might be as simple as doing something like that. Okay. Now, another thing you will note, I did this earlier before I logged in. I actually clocked Donald Black in on my phone, and I'll show you the phone here in a second. But here you'll notice that at 5:49 in here in the States, I logged in. And if I want to see, there's a picture of me at my desk. If I want to see where this employee logged in, this is just on my demo site, I can actually zoom in and see where this employee clocked in for the day, okay? I will clock out and we'll go back and take a look at those hours, but it's very simple. Now, the other question you might have, and I'll just do this here real quick, is, hey, what if we started working on a different cost code? How can I add that to my timesheet? You just click the plus button, then I will bring up all of the cost codes that have been set up on that job that actually have a labor category. So if we're also working on concrete finishing today and steel joists, I can add both of those. But remember, those cost codes are part of that job. So I know that my guys are actually coding the job or cost codes that are actually part of that job, okay? So very simple, easy, wonderful user interface on how to code time. Now, if you're a company, and I'm just going to show this real quickly, that would prefer to have their employees code their own time, well, this is what we call a weekly time card, and I just changed it up here in the upper left-hand corner, and now I see Frank Galloway. So it might be simple, hey, you know what, I just want to do Frank's timesheet for the entire week. And, you know, maybe he came in on Saturday, and we'll say, you know, he had some overtime. So there's a lot of other features, but that gives you an idea. It's very simple, elegant, great user interface, and easy for me to code time for Frank. Okay. Now, again, I'm showing you what it looks like on a web browser. Let's do something else a little bit different. Let's bring up the smartphone. Again, we've got just a few minutes remaining. And the time always goes real quick for me. And I want to make sure we have the time if my devices are making sure I'm on the same connection as my. Okay, we may or may not be able to show the settings here. I just changed a setting on my computer and it doesn't look like I'm going. Oh, there we go. Finally. All right. Let's see if my phone pulls up here. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Gotta love technology. Okay, you're seeing my mobile phone. Again, this is a live demonstration, so you're gonna actually see our app in live mode here. So I'm gonna pull up Remote Payroll. In Remote Payroll, again, I'm logged in as the same guy. Now, I'm gonna show you how I clocked in for the day using my mobile device. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, there's a punch clock. And again, it was Donald Black. So I'm gonna go to Donald Black's name and I could actually clock in and out my crew. Now, at the end of the day, once I show this to you again, I'll show you the actual hours for Donald Black. We can go to Tom Brooks and clock Tom in. So once again, we can capture a photo and we can also capture the GPS. I won't go into any more of that, but we can get the total time. Now, let's show you a couple of screens just quickly on the phone. I'm going to go to a weekly time card on the mobile phone. Let's actually go to Donald Black's time card because you're going to see some hours. Today now, it shows an hour and 50 minutes for Donald Black. You can see that right here. It's still red because if you notice, I already coded time for Donald on the website that synced over. Let's say we wanted to just delete those hours and we wanted it to be equal to the hours that he worked. I'm going to go in there and just put 1.5. We'll go ahead and hit done. And you'll notice that it turns it green, letting me know that I fully allocated his hours. Again, don't want to make this overly complicated. Let's say for the rest of the week, this is what this employee worked on, okay? We'll just put in 8 hours there. And again, on Friday, if he worked 4 hours doing one code, maybe he jumped to the other job as well. We'll put 4 hours on the Clackamas Office Park job also, and we'll put it there. Again, there's other features that you can see or do, but that's Donald Black's time. Or I could do what we call a daily time card. And this is what it looks like on a daily time card. It's Wednesday. Let's go back to Tuesday and say, hey, you know what? We didn't do Tuesday's time for Tom Brooks. So it's Tuesday, the 17th of November. And Tom had, 3 hours doing this code, 3 hours on that code, and maybe 2 hours here. Really very simple. Okay. Again, if anybody has questions throughout the presentation, I'm more than happy to answer those. That's a couple of different ways to do time. Now, one thing I didn't show you that some of you may be interested in, if you're a company that's also capturing equipment time, equipment revenue time, meaning we've got pieces of equipment that we own as a company that we might be charging the job kind of a rental rate for the hours that we're using that piece of equipment on that job. So one of my favorite screens to do this is the equipment time entry screen, where we might take the John Deere backhoe, tap on the plus button up in the upper right-hand corner. Maybe equipment's so much easier than employees, because maybe I say, hey, you know what? I just want to put the entire weeks of time to the Northwest Food Warehouse doing excavating and backfill, and just hit finish and then add and reset. So now I just coded time for the entire week for one piece of equipment to the Northwest Food Warehouse doing excavating and backfill. Again, a lot of other things. I could comment on that time. I could copy the time, etc. So again, very simple, easy way to do this on my mobile device. Again, there's a host of other features here, but let's just do this. Just do the sake of time. I'm going to approve everybody's time. Okay, so I just approved my crew's time. And what that means is Frank Galloway, who's the crew manager, just says, hey, you know what? I'm pretty much done with my crew's time records for the week. And if you remember, I have these time records going to a project manager. Now I'm going to do this pretty quick as a project manager because we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to log out as that that Frank Galloway. I'll log in as Tom Brooks. He is my project manager. So if you have this in your step, Tom Brooks might come in. He might come in here to what we call a time approval screen and see anybody that has been coding time to his job. Okay. And if I want to look at some of the details, I could do what we call a quick look and say, oh, Donald Black worked on the Northwest Food Warehouse job. These are the cost codes that he worked on. But what we find, just real fast, is for a project manager, if he is in the loop, he might like a labor detail report. Labor detail reports are great because I don't have to click on each employee one by one. I can just scroll up and see everybody that worked on that specific job, what they did, the total number of hours, etc. Really nice, very easy for me to do. Now, if I'm happy with the time, I'm just going to click approve. I'm done as a project manager. Simple, easy in, looked at the time, easy out. Now I'm going to log in as the payroll admin. So if some of you joining today are actual payroll managers and you're really sick and tired of hand keying, well, a couple of things you might be sick and tired of. One, gathering time records remotely, either using a pen and paper or gathering Excel spreadsheets or looking through emails. We're really going to help you out because we have one central location to do all of that. Okay, so Laurie Becker, my payroll admin, went to a very similar screen that the project manager just went to. Okay, now Laurie Becker can see a few things. You can actually see the punches for Donald Black that he punched in at 5:59, punched out at 7:19. If we need to actually see the GPS coordinates, we can go to a different page. If I want to see more detail on employees, maybe I make changes before it goes into Sage. I might like the time entry screen because I can show you how easy it is. Maybe if I knew that on Monday, Donald Black really didn't work on asphalt paving, he would spend his whole day doing cement paving. He just maybe missed that. So I might come in here and maybe just put cement, right? And change the cost code. Before it even gets into Sage, I have the ability to manage and change some of these things. Well, last but not least, let's go ahead and just say, I've made changes. I've seen all of these employees. Let's go ahead and give it the thumbs up, meaning I'm approving it now as a payroll admin. And now, here's the magic. Let's get this export out of HH2 ready for Sage. So you'll simply say export time. It's going to create a nice little text file. And if any of you have ever imported time before, you simply know that you go to Sage Payroll, Tools, import time, and you'll take this nice little file that we've provided and import it directly into Sage. Honestly, we can get your payroll into Sage in less than 2 minutes. Very, very simple, easy to do. And in a nutshell, that is HH2 Remote Payroll. Gathering time on the web, going through an approval process, showing you what it looks like on a mobile phone. And you might ask, well, hey, Kevin, you talked about equipment, but what did you do there? Equipment is very similar. I go to the equipment time entry screen. You'll notice there's 40 hours for the John Deere backhoe. If I want to click on that, I would see the time records there. Now, again, that's HH2. Now, the other question that many of you might have, because I haven't seen any questions in the chat panel, I'm going to take you to what has also made HH2 very successful, and that is our pricing model. We set out to make this product available for companies of every shape and size, whether you're 10 employees or 1,000 employees. HH2's pricing is very, very competitive and also very reasonable. Because we're a fully hosted cloud solution, we charge you on a monthly basis based on actual usage. It's a subscription model or software as a service. Now I'm taking you to our products page. It's hh2.com/products or /products-AUS for Australia pricing. Now we're going to go into time entry and reporting. Click on Learn More up in the upper right hand corner, or if you wanted to, you can click on that or just scroll down to the bottom of the page, and our pricing is at the bottom of the page. Okay, now it's very simple and easy to get into the HH2. Your first month of getting into our software, we would charge you 329 Australian dollars. Okay, it's already been converted. This is our pricing for the Australian marketplace. To get into the software, it's 329. It includes 8 free hours of implementation and training, working with somebody here in the US, implementing this product, showing you how to set it up, showing you how to set up users. That includes the integration with Sage. And typically with 4 one-hour sessions with our team members, we can get your company up and running. It also includes unlimited users. Okay, so there's no concept of a user license or a seat. So once you sign up with HH2, it's $329 the first month. And then after that, let's say you're a company that has 80 employees, and yet only 60 of the employees have time in our system in a given month. At the end of that month, we would charge you $539. Okay, let's say you're growing, you've got more employees, you go up and you've got 100 employees or 100 employees or piece of equipment with time, we would invoice you $629. So it will scale up or scale down every month based upon the actual number of employees or pieces of equipment that have time. But honestly, that's HH2's remote payroll. I'm almost right on the half hour. So there were some questions that came in. Let me take a look at those if I can. Oh, yes. Okay. So there was a question that said, hi, can we do the time entry offline if there is no network for mobile? And the quick answer is yes, absolutely. That is what's nice about our mobile apps, is that they have offline capabilities. Please remember, as I started coding time throughout the presentation, it was saving that information locally to the device, but also uploading it to the cloud. But if I don't have connectivity, it's going to save it locally. Then when I come to back home or back to the home office or wherever I have Wi-Fi, I just launch the HH2 app again and it will update. So thank you. Okay, and it looks like Gabriel had answered that. Mark has also asked a question. How does it sync with your current employee list or jobs or project lists? Yeah, so just as a reminder, we set up an integration client, and I'm kind of a visual type guy. And so if you don't mind, I'm gonna just go back to this slide real quick. and help you understand. You have Sage located on a server. HH2 installs a sync client, and we start pulling over jobs, employees, cost codes, all of that information from your Sage accounting system. Okay, seamlessly in the background, we'll pull over all of that data. Mark, does that help answer your question? Okay, perfect. I love those questions. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any other questions? I know, again, this is more of a casual environment. I'm welcome to, or I'm happy to stay on as long as you would like. Before I kind of get out of this, you might say, well, Kevin, that's great. How do we either get more information? How can we schedule a one-on-one online presentation, maybe for our company, because we might have some unique needs that I need to make sure that HH2 can address? Well, you can contact either myself, I'm the Vice President of Sales here, contact me at khadley@hh2.com. Also, you can contact our sales manager. I should have put that in there. Our sales manager, Britton Bauer at bbauer@hh2.com. And of course, you're welcome to contact your consultants at Thrive, contact Chris or Greg, anybody that you're used to speaking with at Thrive, and they would be more than happy to kind of direct things back to HH2 and allow us to kind of communicate and maybe set up a GoToMeeting very similar to this Lunch and Learn that you attended today. Okay, another good question that came in, and I'll be answering those. How is the weekly times stored in the event you need to revisit prior weeks? Love it, love it. So again, we never delete your data. Let me just quickly show you how easy it is for me. I showed you time records for this week. Let me go back to the time approval screen, and I didn't delete my time last week. I'm just gonna go to the calendar, and I'm just gonna go to last week's time. So this is my time last week, right? The 8th of November through the 14th of November. These are all the time records. And you'll see that the time has now been exported. These are all the time records that I've exported. Again, we never delete your data. And then you can also do reports, that labor detail report. Oh, you know what? One more thing, and I will tell you about this. If Gabriel will give me a few more minutes.
Yeah, of course.
Is that okay? Can I cover one more thing that I really failed? I was trying so hard on payroll that I failed to share with your clients here today. Can I share one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. One thing that we just added, and again, it includes, or it's available with your remote payroll subscription. And shame on me for forgetting that today. One of the things that we just included, we used to charge separately for it, but once you've sent out payroll, now if your employees don't have direct deposit or have direct deposit, and you're not used to, you don't want to send out paper pay slips, HH2 as part of the remote payroll product, your employees can go to or download on their mobile device an app from HH2 called My Records. And after you've processed and posted your payroll, those pay stubs will be available for the employee. And not only can they just say, hey, you know what, get me the last 4 weeks or the last month, they can actually say, hey, you know what, I need the last 3 months of pay stubs. And in the palm of their hand, in less than, really honestly, 10 seconds, I have 13 weeks of my pay stubs right here in the palm of my hand. Now, the next question might be asked, how do you get that information? Please remember that we're syncing data from your payroll system into HH2. So you can allow your employees to log in, grab their pay stubs anytime, anywhere, either on a mobile app or on the website. Okay, and I just wanted to cover that. So forgive me for not addressing that earlier. Okay, I don't want to overstay my welcome, everybody, but can I just say not only thank you for attending today, but thanks again to Gabriel for hosting this. allowing HH2 into the Thrive community, and to Chris and Greg and others at Thrive. Thank you for trusting us with your customers.
Wonderful. Yeah, I just want to say thank you very much to Kevin, especially for yourself in the US, taking your time out of your evening. Thank you to everyone that's attended today. Please feel free to email either myself, help@thrivetech.com.au if you have any questions or any feedback. Yeah, feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much for attending today. Please have a great afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Bye.
day. Bye-bye.